So today we're going to go over upright rows. I don't think I've covered these before, but they are an excellent way to work your shoulders and your traps according to your hand placement. So to work traps, you do a closer grip, like such. Come up in front, straight up to your chin. That's going to work your traps. Now, if you use a little bit wider grip, closer to that notch, of course, every bar has a different notch. You're going to use more of your shoulders, kind of like a lateral. Which is what I'm actually working the shoulders, so that's why I hit that way. But that is a great overall exercise for thickness, mass on your shoulders. And if you notice that movement coming up, very similar to if you're doing a side lateral machine or something like that. And there's various talk throughout the bodybuilding world as to how to do a side lateral properly. So, but it's a very similar movement. And for most people, you're using, more than likely, you're using more weight on this combined than you are with the dumbbells. So, something to throw in there. Generally, I'll do this after I've done presses. So I'll do my 5 sets of presses. Then I'll move to something like this to get those shoulders warmed up, and then go to side laterals. Like I said, it's one of those movements you don't see a whole lot of people. I don't see a whole lot of people doing them anymore, but to be honest with you, it is by far one of the superior mass builders for your upper body, for your traps and your shoulders. And of course, it's indirectly, it's going to build some, thickness in your forearms and your biceps too. But it's just one of those things that I don't see people doing these days. It's a great variation to add in there. Hell, it's actually just a good thing to keep in there, but something to think about. So, well, I mean, that's pretty much it. Actually, there is one more thing I want to add in real quick. So to track your progress, there's many ways you can do that. Scale is not the best way. The scale is one of the ways. So obviously, use the scale as a tool to help you guide what your weight loss journey is going, or your weight gain journey is going. But it's just a tool because it doesn't tell the whole picture. You don't know whether or not that weight that's lost is going to be fat, muscle. You don't know whether or not it's going to be water weight. So if you're doing the scale, you should always do the scale kind of consistency. Like if you're doing it once a week, do it at the morning time when you first wake up. No drinking of anything when your body's the driest, so that you keep that consistent and you kind of get a guide of where you're going. Another thing that you can utilize, back when I started, it was the mirror. The mirror is not as effective as cameras are. And back in the 90s, it was just weird, but we would do it anyways. But you would take pictures of yourself with a Polaroid, or if you could afford it, or one of those little 35 millimeter ones, which you had to go get developed. But you would take progress pictures, and you would keep those pictures. And the reason being is that you see yourself every day in the mirror. Every day of your life, you see yourself. So you see no changes. You're going to see the same person. Unfortunately, the mind will play tricks on you. However, if, let's say at the beginning of the year, January 1st, you see your buddy, and then you don't see him again until the end of the year, and you've been consistently working out, dieting, gaining muscle, losing fat, whatever, more than likely, when he sees you, he's going to be like, wow, I can see a difference. But he says that to you and you don't see it yourself. And the reason being, once again, you see yourself every day. So it becomes, it's nothing to you. So for that reason, I say take progress pictures. You should take pictures of yourself. You should take, if you're into bodybuilding, you should take pictures of yourself posing, and then show those as progression maybe once a month, take a picture. Um, you know, for everybody else and for bodybuilders too, do the relaxed poses. See where you're at. Basically, what you're looking at is that your body is like a clay, a big lump of clay, and you're trying to design your statue the way you want it. So with a picture, you can even go in there with a, well, it's all online now. So you go in there with a little S pen or whatever you can to draw on that picture and target those areas in which you don't like. So if you don't like your love handles, hit those, look at those, go, okay, well, I don't like this. What can I do to, slim those down? Let's also remember that you can't really target one particular area for fat loss. What you're actually doing when you're targeting that area is you're building the muscle in that area. But overall, you're doing an overall fat loss. Short of doing something like liposuction or something like that, you cannot target one particular area for fat loss. So, but this way you can judge your own pictures. So you take pictures, and online's a little easier because then you have a computer up and you're looking at the two pictures side by side, January 1st, December 31st, and you can see your progress. That's, that's a great record to keep, but it also gives you motivation. It lets you know that what you're doing is right and what you're doing is making progress in the correct direction. It's one of those things that a lot of times, especially if you're, not the average lifter probably isn't this way, but I will tell you that probably 95% bodybuilders are this way, is that our minds play tricks on us. It'll tell us things and it'll make us see things that aren't there. So you hear about it all the time. You hear about bigomorphia, all these different things that bodybuilders have, which is honestly part of the reason they got into bodybuilding was body image issues. And because of that, their minds play trick on them. So you look at these pictures, it's a little different. It's like an out-of-body experience. You're not really looking at yourself in your mind. But that's one of the things to think about. You guys have it a lot easier today. We do, myself included. But, back when we had to do the 35 millimeter, you take it to a developing place. And then, of course, every time it never failed, you'd come back to get it. And there was always a smirk or something like that, But, the the cost of doing business back then. But just something to think about, write down things too. I honestly suggest that you keep a journal. You can even do a journal on video, talk about what's going on. Maybe keep a written journal too, whatever you want to do. But things that will help you understand why maybe you didn't lose weight, or maybe that your diet wasn't on point and you didn't gain any muscle mass or strength, as well as keeping up with your strength, lifting, and stuff like that. And I'm trying to look at it, the cameras and tripods and gyms. I'm looking at it from a different standpoint now. So there's a lot of things I did in my younger years that I really wish I had recorded, lifts and stuff like that, just to have from my own record, be like, wow, I really did that. But because your memory slips, I can guarantee you that it's going to happen. And unfortunately, when you write things in a book, those books disappear too. So all my stuff was written down in books, and I couldn't tell you where any of that stuff was. But vaguely, I can remember some of the things. But for you guys, you can keep it all online on a digital platform, and it'll always be there for you. So in those aspects, I encourage with respect you to record those things. A lot of times I'll just hand the phone to somebody. Hey man, do you mind recording this set for me? It does a couple things. Number one, it's documenting it, but it also lets you review it and say, okay, well, I didn't lock out, or I didn't do the set like I should have done it, which is positive. I'm still not keen on these guys who, if you put a tripod up and people walk in front of it, hey, guess what? Suck it. It's a tripod in a friggin' gym. That's their walkway. That ain't your place to place that tripod. So you should be apologizing to them, not the other way around. I think that's pretty much it. I haven't recorded too many videos lately, but I can feel my strength coming back. Yesterday, I did a set with 365 for bent over rows, and it felt pretty good. So I think my strength is going back up. I just have to make sure that my diet's on point and that my stress level has dropped dramatically, which has helped tremendously as far as recovery, just feeling better and everything else. So and being able to recover from things. So that's a positive, and one of the benefits of being retired and not having to deal with that stuff anymore. But um, shout out to all my boys that are still doing it. You know, you guys are warriors, champions. My heart goes out to you with just the constant day in, day out things. And, you know, you guys, I hope you guys are getting in the gym too, because, you know, this will prolong your life. And if anybody, God knows if anybody deserves to enjoy their lives, and especially once you leave this job, it's you guys. So, shout out to you guys. Keep it up. And that's it.